Hey friends, welcome to the Profit Maximizer bonus training. That is a mouthful, but basically we're going to walk you through a couple of ideas that have allowed us to scale both the mini workshop magic and also Click Go Live in 30 and 3 much faster as a result of implementing these. So very quickly, what we'll be covering today, and this is important because there's a lot of, let's just call them people. We'll call them people. There's a lot of people out there that are sharing, ways to increase average order values or average cart values in ways that may work in isolation, but may not work in this idea of using a mini workshop as a way to filter the right fits for your follow-up offers. And so that's the consideration that we're looking at through this entire presentation, is not preventing you from actually getting people who are excited to upgrade and work with you at a deeper level. So we're going to talk about why more isn't more. We're going to talk about how to make sure your bump and your upsell is an easy yes. So no brainer, easy thing to click yes to, and no regret, no buyer's remorse. And then we're actually going to pull back the veil and show you exactly what we've done, what's working for us, and why we went that route, and how you can as well. Now, before we jump into kind of the nitty-gritty, I think this is definitely worth mentioning, which is the idea with the Profit Maximizer is, instead of just selling your workshop for 17 bucks or 27 bucks or 37 bucks or 97 bucks or whatever it is, you're thinking about the idea that, okay, there is an entire package that people could buy. So the workshop is part of a couple of things within that single purchase flow that equates to a higher order value. So for example, you could have your workshop at $27, and then you could have a bump at $17 and an upsell at $97. And so there, instead of just relying on $27 each sale, well, now you can have an average order value. If you combine those three things on average, maybe it's $60 or $70 now. And what that means, and this is exactly what we're doing right now with Mini Workshop Magic, is our average order value is around $62. So the workshop itself is 27 bucks, but between the bump and the upsell, it works out right now on average to be about 62 bucks, which means now we can spend up to $62 to make a $27 sale using our paid advertising. That gives us a lot more flexibility. Pardon?
It's a total game changer, because as you're trying to scale, you might have times where it's tricky to actually get a purchase for $27 or $17 without you spending more on ads to get that purchase.
Yep. And so that's one of the secrets, is this idea of looking at the entire average order value. Now, sometimes you're going to spend if you're doing paid ads, you're going to spend $37 to make a $27 sale. They're not going to buy the upsell. They're not going to buy the bump. And you're going to say, well, crap, I've lost 10 bucks on that sale. Well, number one, no, because you have this entire strategy in place and you're upgrading the right people to the back end offer. But number two, if you look at the average order value, then yeah, you may have lost 10 bucks on that sale, but the next one that happened, you may have made an extra 100 bucks. So that's where this is really, really powerful. Now, the idea that I think a lot of people miss the mark on is, if you're doing a single funnel, right? You've got a single sales funnel and there's no back end, then you really are trying to maximize that average order value. Yeah. But if you do have an upsell on the back end, so you've got a membership or a mastermind or a VIP day, something that after they've created the mini workshop, you invite them to, then I think it's really, really important not to overdo it with the sales funnel. We've all been on sales funnels where there's literally 6 upsells and then a downsell and then an upsell. And it's like, I just want the dang thing I paid for, right? That leaves a bad taste in most people's mouths. If you're appealing to the internet marketer, maybe they kind of get it. They're like, it's kind of like a game. They're funnel hacking you or that kind of stuff. But if you're going to a larger audience, someone who's outside the internet marketing world, that's kind of off-putting, because where in your world do you get hammered with upsell after upsell? You go to McDonald's, they say, well, do you want the large fries and Coke? But then they don't say, okay, now that you don't want that, well, do you want Pepsi? And if you don't want Pepsi, do you want a second McChicken? If you don't want a second McChicken, do you want a McFlurry? It's like, that doesn't happen in the real world. That would be totally off-putting. So keep that in mind, right? we're not McDonald's, but McDonald's makes their business through repeat, right? People coming back over and over and over again. And that's kind of what we're going with the mini workshop magic, which is they're coming in, they're getting an amazing result, right? You followed the formula that we walked through in the workshop, and then the next thing is an easy yes. So we don't want to cloud that with a terrible purchasing journey. Which I guess maybe this bears repeating, but make sure the journey feels good. I've had a number of people reach out to me from hey, I just bought this. How did you do that? That was just so good. To a number of people reaching out to us for Mini Workshop Magic and saying your upsells and bumps were total yeses, and it felt so good. Like I didn't feel like I was being taken advantage of. That's what we want. We want people to have the need for a deeper or faster result, to be able to do that and not feel gross about it. That's kind of the overarching goal with this.
Yeah, you want people to feel excited that you have something else. And like, oh my gosh, I get to add this thing that I really need or that I really want or that I never would have thought of. This is awesome. Yeah. Not like you're dragging them through.
Yeah. And so here's the secret. This is how we have upsells and bumps that convert so well, is we're very attuned to how they actually fit in the journey of someone going through the purchasing process, but also the implementation process. And so when we're thinking about bumps or upsells, couple of things that we think about. Number one is, can we give someone something that helps them get a faster result? So that could be something as simple as swipe files, could be something as simple as a template kit, or even case studies, how people have done it, or over my shoulder or over Sarah's shoulder, how we do it, right? And so these are really, really good to say, like, hey, you're getting the workshop, but if you want to not even have to really think about it and just do the thing, right, we'll just give you it, right? It's an extra $27 or $37, whatever it is. Thing about these from our perspective, or your perspective as the person providing it, is you do it once and then you sell it, you sell it, you sell it. You don't have to keep fulfilling. So like creating the swipes or creating the templates, right? So it's work up front, but then that's something that they just get instant access to as they buy. So from a fulfillment standpoint, this is awesome. You spend a little bit of time and then you make a bunch of sales and a bunch of people get faster results. We typically use these for bumps. So the little, hey, do you want to add this in the flow, which you'll see in a second. These are typically where we use them is in the bump process, which is like, hey, do you want this extra thing to help you get faster results? That's kind of like the promise of that.
And they work really well there because people understand what they are. You typically don't have to explain what an email template is or explain what a case study is. People kind of understand what they're getting, so you don't need a whole page to describe it.
Yeah. Now, the other thing is access. So the way that we look at bumps or upsells, it's like either faster results or more or deeper access. That's kind of it. And so for access, this could be something like group calls. This could be feedback. This could be support or a custom roadmap. At the end of the day, this is obviously harder to fulfill because it's more access to you or your team, but therefore, as a result, it's far more valuable. Mm-hmm. And so we typically use these in upsells, particularly, as Sarah just shared, where we can actually explain it. We can actually put a video and talk about it and really speak to why someone is going to want to invest in this extra access with us. Now, the third thing, and this is where actually, I think a lot of other people kind of focus on, is the next thing, which is, typically I've seen, and I use this actually for Click Go Live, and you'll see in a second, where it's like, your main problem solves the thing, but then your bump or your upsell can solve the next problem. Now, this is great if you don't necessarily have a back-end offer, right? You don't have a fleshed out offer that comes after the mini workshop. And if you just want the whole mini workshop bundle to be a self-contained thing, then you can have the next thing as an upsell. And I'll show you mine in a second. And that works really well. But if you are using your mini workshop to fill your back-end offer, to fill your signature offer, then I would lean more to faster result for the bump and more access for the upsell, and not really focusing on the next thing, because that's the next thing. You can do the whole funnel for your next offer, and we don't want to try and condense that into a single page.
And the reason it's harder to sell is that people haven't gotten results yet. And that's one of the reasons that we usually wait to invite people on to the next thing until we've proven that we can help them get results inside the mini workshop that they just bought.
Yeah. Okay, so let's look at some bumps. So the idea is that and we use Kajabi. So if you use Kartra or ClickFunnels or I'm any funnel builder, they all have this ability, which is you got the main thing, and then there's a little like box underneath that says, hey, do you want to add that to your cart? Do you want to add that to your purchase? So that's the bump. A couple of things that we're considerate of. Number one is different price than the main offer. This is something that Sarah brought up when we were creating our funnel, and I was like, which is totally true. We accidentally, I'd say, with Click Go Live and 30-3, we never had the bump as the same price as the main offer. But I have purchased that in the past, and it's interesting when that happens and you see your credit card statement and it's like two of the same purchase, then it's very easy to make that assumption that, oh, I actually bought that thing twice, right? And so you're going to do a bump. It can be more, it can be less, totally up to you, but just do not make it the same price as your main product, just to put that to bed as far as confusing people when they look at the receipts or invoices that they bought the same thing twice. Number two is you only got a little bit of text, right? So you really have to make sure that title and description is compelling, and not just for what it is, but what is having it. So buying it, what is it going to mean or do if purchased? And then the last thing is the actual scarcity itself. So is this actually a one-time offer? And if it is, let people know. We'll talk about like fake scarcity a little bit later, but this is your opportunity to say like, hey, you're going through this buying journey. If you want this thing that's going to help you get faster results, this is your only chance to get it. It's this price. I am going to sneeze. Okay, it's gone. Perfect. As far as the title and description, this is something that we're constantly tweaking. I know little changes, but the idea is simply, in as few words as possible, how can you make this appear like a total no-brainer while still being true and honest with what they're getting? So not over-promising and making it seem like it's going to change their world, but in some cases, it may actually change their world, but in almost all cases, like, why is this a no-brainer? So for ours, which you guys are literally watching this, the Mini Workshop Profit Maximizer. Mini Workshop, that is all about how to create your mini workshop and how to use that as a vehicle into moving into your back end or signature offer. That's it. Now, the Mini Workshop Profit Maximizer is, well, how do you get the most amount of money for that workshop so that you can scale faster, which is what we're talking about now. So that's not necessarily needed for the mini workshop. If someone didn't have this, it's not like their mini workshop's going to fail. They're not going to be able to upgrade people to the back end offer. But if you do, if you bought this, this is going to allow you to scale your workshops faster, right? Faster results. And therefore, it's going to, for us, from our perspective, there's a little bit of transparency. You're far more likely to join Wake Up to Freedom when your workshop is going gangbusters, because now we can help you with your back end offer. Now we can help you with creating a business that is in alignment with what you want out of life and not just scaling. Is there anything else, Sarah?
No, I would just say for this offer, you want to make it as simple as possible. So this isn't the time to have multiple moving pieces and this whole stack of things that are included. It's one simple thing that you can easily describe with a couple sentences, and people are like, yes, I want this. You don't want any confusion or complication, because as soon as people are confused, they're going to say, oh, I'll come back later. Oh, I probably don't need this. I don't know if this is for me. You want it to feel really simple, and that's why we usually keep it as like a single video training or a single set of templates. Yeah.
And this Mini Workshop Profit Maximizer, the last time I checked, which was a couple of days ago, was converting at around 56%. So of the people who signed up for Mini Workshop Magic, 56% of them also added, this is like meta, right? Everything we're doing with this whole workshop is like meta. 56%, between 56 and 57% of people added this to their order. So instead of it being a $27 workshop, it now became a $27 plus $37 workshop because that's how much this bump cost. Now, as far as some other bumps for Click Go Live, I have a case study bump, which converts around 35%, which is 30 clients enroll with 8 simple live videos, a case study breakdown. Again, it's a simple training with a PDF that kind of walks through the 8 videos that anyone can use to enroll more clients. And then for my 30 in 3 workshop, which is how to get 30 video testimonies in 3 days, we'll have a bonus training on how to bust hidden objections. And so this is, again, a simple training with a PDF that goes with it as well. And I believe that one converts around 40%. Now you'll notice one is 37, one is 27, one is 17. You can pretty much price this whatever you want. Obviously, the higher the price, the more thought that goes into it, chances are the lower the conversions. But we've also done bumps that were 97 bucks for our 5 days and done that converted really, really well. So I think you have a little bit of leeway there. Just going back to what Sarah shared, though, it's almost like you want it to be something that they don't have to think about. They don't have to get permission. They don't have to, add the totals up and think, do I really now want to spend $64 on this or $154 on this? This should really still fall into this is a no-brainer, price and value. And
you still want people to feel like, back to Justin's scientific pricing strategy, if you've watched the workshop content, you want people to feel like they're getting away with highway robbery. And that's part of creating a good sales experience, is whether that person ends up deciding to purchase or not, you don't want them to feel like they're in this position where they might be getting taken advantage of.
Yeah.
And so those lower prices and those easy yeses and the sense of, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're giving that away for 97 bucks. Or I can't believe they're giving that away for 17 bucks, is a better experience whether they end up purchasing or not. Because they don't feel like, wait, I'm being tricked into giving away all this extra money.
Yeah, and think about it from this perspective, right? So this cost you 37 bucks. If we just help you get maybe 1 or 2 upgrades, just 1 or 2, this is paid for itself, right? So if you take a single thing from what we shared in this training and you apply it and you make 1 or 2 upgrades, this is paid for itself. But if you take what we share and your average order value goes from $27, like just the workshop, to $60 as ours is, that is a massive difference for your business, and you just paid 37 bucks for it. So that's the kind of value that you want to be giving with these. It's not so much like a hard decision to make, but the return is just could be absolutely massive for you, the people who are going through the bump material that you provided. Okay, as far as upsells, so the bump is like, the little checkbox. The upsell is what happens on the next page, which is like, hold up, we got one more thing for you, because we only ever do 1 upsell. There are some softwares out there that you can do 5, as we said. We only do 1, right? So we're not hitting people over the head with the McDonald's reference I shared earlier. It's just, hey, do you want the fries and the pop? That's basically it. I don't know why I'm using McDonald's. We don't even eat McDonald's, but it just popped in my mind because it's like, that's how they made their business.
It's a good ubiquitous example.
Yeah. So inside of Kajabi, we have the opportunity to use a headline, to use a video, and some text. If you're using ThriveCart or ClickFunnels or Kartra, you have more stuff you can do, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to convert higher. Our upsells convert very, very high using very simple things which we're going to talk about right now. Number 1 is a clear headline to stop from clicking off.
Yep. So
what we don't want to have happen is someone think that this is just the confirmation page. I bought the thing, I'm done, right? So is there a headline or a title that you can just say, whoa, hold your horses, there's one more thing for you. So that's number 1. We typically start with a question, which is like, hey, do you want this thing? And you'll see ours in a second. The question changes a little bit, but it's basically like, hey, hold up, do you want X, Y, and Z? So it's a question that kind of creates a little bit of curiosity so that they actually press play, watch the video, read the description, and then decide if they want it.
And we use a question instead of a product name, because the name of your upgrade isn't going to mean anything to them at this point. And so they're going to be like, oh, I don't know what that is. No, thanks. But a question that feels really conversational starts to be like, ooh, yes, maybe I do want that. Let me learn a little bit more.
Yeah. Now we do a little video, and we'll actually give you the script, the one-time offer video script in this section, so you can see exactly what we use and you can model it. The video is usually 30, maybe 60 seconds, so very, very short. We're not going into like the huge VSL 15 minutes type thing. Like, this is a very short video. But again, we're speaking to not just like, here's this thing you're going to get, but what it'll mean if you purchased it. And also in the video, we are very clear that if you don't purchase it, world's not going to end. You're still going to get the thing that you want, right? So again, we're thinking about the buying journey and making sure that we're not stepping on our toes in the process. And if this is scarcity driven, then let people know. If it's not, that's fine. You may not. Like, it's totally fine to have an upsell that's not like buy now or else. This is just an opportunity to present an offer when someone is in the buying mode. So if it's not a one-time offer, totally fine. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to lie about it. If it is, let people know. Now, as far as some ideas, this one on the right is, so we had our 5 days and done workshop, which was basically over the course of 5 days, we're going to help you write and launch a making sales page. And that was $497. The bump, which was this, was $997. And that was 30 VIP spots, which basically you can see the description below, which basically gave people more access to us and specifically feedback. So this was not one-on-one support. This was a group support. So we had 100 people in 5 days and done. This was an opportunity for a smaller group of us to be more focused, to develop a stronger relationship, and then therefore help people really, for sure, get their sales page done in 5 days. And so we presented them this offer, which was like, hey, if you want more access to us, if you want us to personally give you feedback and literally log into your Kajabi site and change some things around or help you with your copy, then this is your opportunity. And so this was not an inexpensive upsell, right? $997 is not necessarily something you see, but we wanted to give people the option. We ended up selling, I think, 12 spots.
Yeah. So it was definitely a lower conversion than most of our upsells, but at the same time, that's $12,000.
Yes. We didn't really have to do a lot, like other than show up and provide coaching and support. We didn't have to create extra content. There was no more slides. It was literally just, again, more access. That's it. They just had more access to us. And so if you've got your mini workshop, how for an upsell, what's something you can do that gives people more access to you? Could be in a group setting, could be one-on-one. You can price it whatever you want, but this guarantees their results, which then almost guarantees them working with you beyond that. And so one of the things that I've actually walked a couple of my clients through, and this is what I did when I first launched Click Go Live, is I did a custom strategy as the upsell. So I started at $197, and then it went to $297, then $397, and then I took it away because it was just too much time eventually. But if you are currently paying for strategy sessions, or if you're currently providing roadmaps or plans, well, then an upsell is a great opportunity to say, hey, you bought this thing. If you want me to create the exact plan that you should follow based on your unique business, the things that drive you in life, whatever it is, well, here it is. And it can literally, this is what I walk my client through. It can literally be as simple as they buy this thing. It takes them to, or sends them an email with a calendar link. They book the calendar. They fill out the survey. You show up and you fulfill, and there you go. You've 97, 297, 397, however much you want for that strategy session. That's really great if you are getting your mini workshop out there and you want to increase the average order value, but you don't necessarily have another thing to sell them. Well, maybe it's just more access. Maybe it's just more access to you.
It's also a great option if you spend a lot of your time doing free strategy sessions or free discovery calls for a back-end mastermind or group coaching program. With this, you can actually get paid to do those calls, help people get awesome results on those calls, and then use those relationships to eventually upgrade those people into those back-end offers.
Yeah. And for me, when I did this with ClickGo Live, the percentage of people who went through that and then ultimately joined Seen and Heard Collective, which is my mastermind, was super high.
Yeah.
And I don't know the exact amount. I think it was like 40 or 50% of people who went through that strategy session ultimately joined Seen and Heard Collective. And that's a very pricey investment. But what it was an opportunity for me to show the value that I provided in 1 hour, to like literally leapfrog people that went through this experience to like be instantly confident on their live videos, to know exactly what to say to make sales. But again, faster results. Then it was like, well, what else do you know? Well, Seen and Heard. I know a lot of things about video, right? So it's a very easy yes. So,
and to be clear,
yes.
We're not saying do these and sell on this session. Like actually support them, actually help them reach their goals, and then continue the conversation, continue the relationship, and you can get easy upgrades without ever taking a sales call or using a sales script. That's not what it's about.
Yeah. Okay. The other thing is, if you do happen to have more templates or more swipe files, and you can totally do that as a upsell as well. And so this is the upsell for mini workshop magic, which was basically the bump is this, the profit maximizer, which you guys are in. The upsell was, hey, do you want a bunch of swipe content and so emails, social media posts, everything that we used and have used to fill our own workshops, so you don't even have to think about it, right? So that's basically it. It's like for $67, I don't really have to do a lot of thinking. I can just follow these things and make a bunch of sales. So this is the way I like to look at this one is it's kind of like cut to the chase, give them everything they need for instant results. Mm-hmm. This was one of those things where, again, we create it once and we don't have to fulfill. So unlike the 5 days and done where Sarah and I are literally fulfilling VIP calls, this is literally, we spend the time, we create it, and now we can infinitely sell it. And again, whoever buys this is again, faster results. So they're going to be able to get their workshop launched and make a bunch of sales. And as a result, they're probably far more likely to actually sign up for Wake Up to Freedom. Now this, in the templates or swipe files as an upsell, well, now you have a video. So whereas if it's a bump, you don't have a video, right? It's just text. So now you can actually get a little bit more nuanced. You can actually be a little bit like your video can carry some of the weight, the energy, the excitement. Again, super simple and short video. I think this one is literally like 40 seconds. And then below it, we just list everything they get. We couldn't necessarily list that on a bump because it would be like a huge bump.
Yeah.
And take away from the buy button. In the case of an upsell, you know, with the way that Kajabi is structured, we can literally list everything they're going to get for $67, which again, total no brainer for these anyone who signed up. If this just saves you 1 hour, it's paid for itself, but this will save you dozens and dozens of hours. This is an example of the next problem they'll face. So inside of ClickGo Live, I walk people through how to make sales with simple live videos. One of the realities is there's then two things you can do. Either you can then go live and go live more often to make sales, or you can just take the videos you've done and make sure that they're being seen by more people to make sales. So the next problem people face is like, do I need to do more lives, or can I just repurpose my content? Well, if I repurpose my content, that seems complicated. I'm not a video editor. I don't know how to get the most out of it. Do I do social media video, meme video style, all the things? So I basically was like, hey, let me show you how to get 10 assets from one video. And so it means you're spending less time going live or even creating the assets, because you can actually delegate that process to your VA or your repurposing team, whatever it is. And so this is $97. It's basically a system. I walk people through how to do it and then give an example. And the thing that's amazing about this is this is one of those things where if you implement it, you will make sales very quickly and at a level that is kind of unheard of with live videos. Because I walk people through some of the stuff that I do that no one else does. That is why my videos work so well, is why we make so many sales when I go live. And so this is one of those things where $97, if you make one sale, it's probably paid for itself, but I'm going to make you make a lot more than one sale. Now this is, as Sarah shared earlier, like this is a bit of a harder sell because I haven't really gotten someone a result yet, but it's kind of a no-brainer. So it's one of those things where it's a problem that people already like understand, which is like, I don't want to do more lives. I know I'm going to make some sales with live videos, but I'm already kind of tapped out. So if I can get a little bit more mileage out of each live video, maybe that's okay. This one converts around 40%. So even at $97, it converts relatively high at 40%. And again, the results that we get from it is kind of awesome. Like it's staggering the emails and stuff we get about. We actually just got one, I think 2 or 3 days ago, that was like, I literally took 6 pages of notes. It's like a 30-minute training, and this person took 6 pages of notes from it because it's really focused on getting people the actual result that I promised. It's an easy yes, and it's the next problem they'll face.
And the easiest way to sell the next problem they face is if your first promise feels realistic and manageable and doable. And that's kind of what mini workshops are all about. So when you are making a smaller promise that people feel like, yeah, I think I am going to be able to do this thing. I think I am going to learn this system for doing this thing. It's going to be easier for them to buy an upgrade like this.
Yeah. And then this is the last idea we have. This is particularly good if you have a membership, either your back-end offer or however it flows in your sales process. But one of the things that we do for Wake Up to Freedom, and also what I do for Live Lab, is this idea of presenting the monthly option. And you can present the monthly or the annual side by side. But as an upsell, just letting people upgrade to an annual for a discount and a bonus. So you can literally price, $37 a month or $397 for the year on the sales page, and people will buy monthly. And then on that page, it's, hey, are you sure you don't want to upgrade to an annual membership? Get a bunch of months free, get this bonus. You can do it right here. The amount of people who then end up upgrading to annual is kind of crazy, especially if you do have them priced side by side on the sales page. But it's just one of those things, right? Like, it's just like when you put it in the context of like, hey, do you want 4 months free? And do you want this bonus? It becomes an easy yes. And so this is what we do for Wake Up to Freedom. On the Wake Up to Freedom sales page, it's $197 per month. So you click that, goes to a checkout. And on the checkout, it actually says, hey, if you want to save, if you want to basically save 4 months, so $788, click here, you can do annual. But if someone signs up for the monthly, the upsell is literally just saying like, hey, whoa, are you sure you don't want 4 months free? If you commit to a year right now, we will give you 4 months free, which is the same price we had on the annual. It's not like a bigger discount. And you're going to get this bonus called Insider's Access, where we walk you through exactly how we're scaling Wake Up to Freedom without it costing our lives and family and loved ones all the things that we care about. And people are upgrading. They're literally going from the 197 to the 1576 on this page, even though they could have done it on the page before. I think this is just a good lesson in not overthinking upsells, right? Yeah. Faster results, deeper connection. This is an example of a deeper relationship. So they're committing to a year of Wake Up to Freedom, and in exchange, they're getting, a couple months free and a bonus training or bonus trainings. But more than that, they're committing to themselves, right? They're committing to us. We're doing this together for longer than just 1 month. So if you've got your mini workshop, I don't necessarily think going straight to a membership is the right upsell for your workshop, because I think we really want to get like the result first. But if your back-end offer is a membership or is an ongoing reoccurring payment, you can totally just have the annual option or the lifetime option be the upsell. You don't have to do anything new. You can just present a different pricing plan and a different option for committing and make it as simple as that. Now, the one thing I will say is if you go through all the videos, I'm wearing a hat. Those are optional. So you don't need to wear a hat to have a converting upsell video. I'm just going to put that out there. I mean, it does help, but it's not necessarily.
It probably bumps you up a couple percentage points, but it's not going to make or break your business.
Okay, a couple of just real quick things from an integrity standpoint. Number one, be clear that this is an add-on, whether it's the bump, the upsell, reoccurring charges. Like, let people know. I've seen several memberships as one-time offers that were not clear that they were going to be rebilled, and that is like an instant. I mean, that can get you in a lot of trouble, whether it's Stripe or PayPal, with not being clear that this is a reoccurring payment. But also, if the goal is to get people success, we don't want to start it by like hiding things and not being fully transparent. On that front, if it's a one-time offer, let them know. If it's not, don't say it is. Again, it's one of those things where what else are you not being truthful about? Yeah. You can have a one-time offer, and then you can offer that offer later at that same price for another special promotion. That's fine. This is typically this price. Right here, it's this price. But if I go through the one-time offer and then I see in the product the option to buy it again for that same price, well, then trust is lessened, right? Like, what else are you not being fully transparent about? And then the last thing is, this goes back to the whole structure of the mini workshop. If you want people to succeed, you cannot, this is very important, you cannot remove things out of it and then add it as a bump or an upsell.
No.
So that a certain percentage of people have it, but the others don't, because if they don't and they don't get the results, they're not going to upgrade. So if you look at the bumps this bump, the one you're watching right now, or the upsell, the template kit, none of that was required to get your mini workshop out there and to enroll people, right? Again, it just faster results or deeper connection. That's all it was. Keep that in mind when you're creating your bumps and upsells. Do not pull things out that people need. In the same way, don't add things that they don't need, right? We want to make it, the mini workshop is like as short as possible to get the results. That one to-do list, that one action item, that one bucket list item, whatever it is, we want to get them that result as quickly as possible. Now, as far as how you know it's converting, well, there is no like hard and fast. This is what a bump or an upsell should convert at. When we're looking at our metrics right now, in just looking very quickly before this training, our bumps convert anywhere between 40 to 60%. So across Click Go Live, 30 and 3, Mini Workshop Magic, it's in that 40 to 60% range. The upsells convert anywhere from 20 to 40%. Now, we did say that the 5 days and done VIP was 12%, but that was also a $1,000 bump. So
we were expecting a lower conversion rate.
But when we're looking at bumps that are anywhere from $100 to a couple $100, they're in that 20 to 40% range. Anything below those metrics, there's a couple things you can do. I would not do all of these at once, because then you don't really know what's causing it. But number one is you can literally just rename it, right? So in the bump, if you have a section or name for it, you can just start there. The description, if it's a little bit too, here's what's included, and a little bit less, here's why this will benefit you, then make that little adjustment. You can reshoot the video for the upsell. So we're going to give you the script. You can try it, but maybe the hook needs to be a bit different. Maybe you really need to let people know that this is awesome. Your energy needs to be like just a little bit more excitable. That's fine. Try that. And you can always replace the bump or upsell. So for Click Go Live, I started with the strategy session, and then I changed it to the Leverage Lives bonus training, right? And so the reason the strategy session was a custom roadmap, and then I changed it to the Leverage Live is because at some point I was too busy. I couldn't fulfill those anymore. And so I literally created the training and I swapped it out. Anyone who had bought the Click Go Live before that, I didn't actually email them. I could now and say, hey, I have this new training. You may find it valuable. But I just looked at it as anyone who bought Click Go Live from that point on doesn't know I was doing customer strategies. All they saw was the upsell for the Leverage Lives. That's it. And then here's the most important metric, though, is it doesn't really matter what your bumps or upsells convert from a percentage if you are also tracking the people who are upgrading to your signature offers on the back end. Because you may have a bump that's converting at 30%, oh wow, I want to try and bump that up. But what if 100% of the people that buy the bump are upgrading to your back end offer?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty awesome. So just make sure you're not making decisions in isolation.
Yeah.
And increasing the bump conversion, but then therefore decreasing the people who are upgrading. I don't know how that would happen, but just something to keep in mind. And you can always do that in Kajabi or other platforms. You can see if they bought this product and they bought this product, how many of those exist? Because maybe the bump or the upsell is actually selling well, but it's not actually introducing the membership or the mastermind or the VIP in a way that is leading to more upgrades.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you could change the upsell to the customer strategy session, which then enrolls people into your high ticket backend, for example. Okay, I think we covered a lot there. There will be the bonus one-time offer script, the slides. You can go through them as well, so you can kind of read the descriptions for the bumps and the upsells. But again, keep in mind, the goal with all of this is to get people the result.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're thinking about your bump or your upsell, how can you get them that result faster? Either through template swipes, all those things, or through more access, more intimate access to you, whether that's coaching, VIP access, support calls, you name it. Any final words, Sarah?
No, that's it. Keep over delivering, and keep making that buyer's journey the best experience that it can be.